I don't really talk about this much anymore. Not because I'm over it, more like I'm tired of people giving me that look, like I'm crazy. But I know what happened that fall, and I know I'm not the only one who felt it. This was back in 2018. I'd just moved to Flagstaff, Arizona, for grad school at Northern Arizona University. I'd grown up in Phoenix my whole life. Big city, desert heat, endless traffic. Flagstaff felt like a different planet. Tall pines everywhere, cold wind that cut through my cheap jackets, and this quiet at night that was so deep it almost felt wrong. I was renting this old basement apartment just off Beaver Street, not far from campus. Cheap place, mold smell in the corners, tiny windows half buried in the yard. But it was mine, and for the first time, I didn't have to deal with my folks breathing down my neck. I'd stay up late writing papers or grading undergrad assignments. I was a teaching assistant for an intro psych class. Most nights I'd work until 3 or 4 in the morning. It was dead silent down there, except when the pipes knocked or something scurried in the walls. I told myself it was just squirrels. Anyway, one Thursday night in October, I'm working on this essay about cognitive dissonance, half asleep at my desk. It's past 2. I remember I had my headphones on, blasting some old Elliott Smith stuff just to keep my head clear. That's when I felt it. A thud. Not loud, but it came from the back door. My apartment had this rusted old metal door that led out to the tiny backyard, which was basically just dirt and pine needles. Nobody ever used it. I froze, just listening, one earbud dangling. Another thud. This time more like a scrape, metal on metal. My first thought was raccoons or maybe a stray dog rooting through the trash. I grabbed the flashlight I kept on my desk and crept to the back. The door had this narrow window, wired glass, fogged up with grime. I couldn't see anything. I flipped the deadbolt and pulled the door open a crack. Cold air hit me first, and then that smell. Wet earth and something else, like old meat left out too long. I swung the flashlight around the yard. Nothing. Just the wind rattling the fence. I told myself it was the wind. Shut the door, locked it, and tried to get back to my laptop. But I couldn't focus. I kept glancing back at that door, half expecting to see a face pressed up against the glass. Over the next few nights, it got worse. Always around the same time, between 2 and 3. Sometimes I'd hear tapping on that little basement window near my bed. Once I heard breathing, I swear to God. Slow, heavy, right outside the glass, like they were trying to make sure you heard it. I called my landlord, a retired guy named Dennis who lived up in Williams. He brushed me off, said it was probably just a bear. Flagstaff's got plenty of them. But I knew better. Bears don't tap on windows. Bears don't breathe slow and steady like they're trying to make sure you hear it. I started sleeping at the library some nights, or crashing on a buddy's couch near campus. My buddy Dave kept telling me to get a camera set up, but I couldn't afford it. Grad students barely afford food. One night, Halloween actually, I decided to just stay up. I sat up in the living room with all the lights off, a baseball bat across my lap like that'd do anything. Around 2:30, I heard the footsteps. Slow, crunching over the pine needles in the yard. I held my breath, listening. Then the back door handle rattled. Soft at first, then harder, like whoever or whatever was out there was testing how much force it'd take to break it open. I thought about calling the cops, but what would I say? I was just some broke grad student in a basement with creaky pipes and an overactive imagination. So I did nothing. Just sat there in the dark, clutching that bat until the handle went still. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't sleep much after that either. A week later, I woke up to find muddy prints on the basement steps outside the back door. Just one set, but they were huge. bare feet, toes spread wide like someone had been walking barefoot through the woods, except the dirt was black and smelled like rot. I moved out 2 days later, broke my lease, took the hit, slept on Dave's floor for the rest of the semester. I tried telling Dennis again when I dropped off the keys. He just laughed and said I'd been partying too hard. I don't think he laughed when the next tenant broke their lease after a month too. Sometimes I think about that place. I don't know what it was. Some drifter, a bear, something else entirely. I tell myself it was just a person. But some nights, when I can't sleep and the wind rattles my window here in Phoenix, I swear I hear it again. That slow, steady breathing, waiting for me to listen.